Ben McKee, West Rucker, Go Vols 24/7 here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium in the batting cages where Tennessee just handled business against Hofstra in the season opener and the series opener as well. They run rule the Pride 15-0 in 7 innings, and the offense obviously scored quite a bit of runs. We will talk about the offense, but Liam Doyle, the Ole Miss transfer, was as advertised. 11 strikeouts. Struck out 11 of the 15 batters he faced, only gave up 1 hit, did not walk a batter, and he pretty much only used his upper 90s fastball.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a guy's means business when it's this cold outside and a guy's going out there and you see him warming up for the first inning, touching 99, like before the inning even starts. You're like, okay. Like he's feeling good today. He's warm enough, and he joked about how he'd like it to be a little warmer. He's from New Hampshire, so I mean he's probably used to this stuff. And he shoved, man. I mean that's going out there and meaning business. And I tell you, Frank Anderson's going to love it too because he was just in the zone. He was in the zone. He's going to face better teams, obviously, than Hofstra. With no offense intended, it's just kind of reality. But all you can do is go play the team in front of you and throw strikes and do your job. And I think he did that really well.
Yeah, I thought Tanner Franklin did as well. Liam, with it being cold, first outing of the year, only throws 5 innings. Franklin, the Kennesaw State transfer who grew up just down the road in Jefferson City, he comes in and, I mean, he was just as filthy with the fastball, upper 90s in his 2 innings of work. Hit the first batter that he faced and then struck out the next 3.
Which you hear about how wild he kind of was in the past at times, and you're like, uh-oh. But
yeah, and then he dialed it in and struck out the next 3.
Sure did. I mean, you hear, that's what I'm saying. You hear that, and then it starts like that, and you're like, oh no. But then you're like, oh no, he got better. He got better. He's good now. I mean, it's like maybe Frank Anderson knows what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. The Frank laboratory that is over here off to our right. But offensively, the pitching was absolutely dominant between Liam and Tanner. The offense was dominant as well. Dean Curley hits the first home run of the year. Andrew Fisher hits his first home run. Stone Lawless hits a bases loaded 2-run double. Manny Marine gets to start at third base. I guess maybe that's where we should start when looking at the position players, is that Manny Marine, the true freshman, starts at third. Andrew Fisher starts at first, and I think it's a combination of things. I think it is them being cautious with the arm tweak that Fisher has been dealing with. If you're playing first, you're less likely to throw the ball. But Tony, I asked him post-game, and he said that he didn't directly say Manny, but you knew he was referencing him and just said that he's been better than the other guys that could have played over there at third base while Fisher has been out with that arm tweak.
Yeah, and you know, Fisher told us anyways that he hadn't even played first base in preseason until 2 days ago. Basically, they gave him like a new glove, and they're like, by the way, here's a first base bit. And he said it's still not broken in really, but he's like, hey, just go over there and catch the ball. It's not too bad. You know, he wants to play third. I think if you're a third baseman, you don't really want to go to first base. You can, but you don't want to. There's more money and other things about being over there at third. Also a pride thing. He'll be fine. But obviously the swing looks good. I mean, he got into that one, got it flush, and Marine, I mean, the level of player they're recruiting now and the level of talent they're able to bring in through the portal and everything else, to be a true freshman, to step into that lineup on day one, it's impressive. I mean, if there hadn't been a couple of little injuries or tweaks, would it have been? I don't know. But the fact is, he's out there for one of the best teams in the country on day one and looked good.
Yeah, and just about everybody that stepped to the plate looked good. I thought Cannon Peebles had a nice day. We mentioned Fisher. We mentioned Curley's 2-run homer. Reese Chapman in the 9 spot had a nice single up the middle that he hit really hard to keep the inning alive and set up Dean. Gavin Keelan had a couple of nice at-bats as well. I mean, just really go through the lineup and even getting into the pinch hitters at the end of the game. Hunter High, the ultra utility man that kind of reminds me of Jared Dickey in the box. He comes in and just absolutely crushes a baseball. So the offense, it did what it was supposed to against a Hofstra team.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me early in the season anyways, especially when there's a talent disparity like there is in some of these matchups, baseball, like anything else, it's a results-oriented game, but baseball is so much about routines and the day-to-day discipline, staying within what you do, and then that leads to results. And so what I'm trying to say here is, in a game like this, what you want to see is, are you still just being you? You know, are you don't chase balls out of the zone, take your walks if they're there, swing at the pitches, wait for the right count, wait for the right pitch, stay disciplined, and don't overextend. I mean, you could tell Fisher early on was wanting to get one out of the yard today. He said he wanted to get his first out of the way, and every swing he was Happy Gilmore in that. I mean, he wanted it. But for the most part, they just, even 2 strikes, he backed it down a little bit. They did what they need to do. They were disciplined. they had the right approach. And when you do that and you have their talent, other than the occasional bad day, you're going to win most of the time.
Yep, Tennessee will be back in action tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. That game is being moved up from 4 p.m. Because of weather in the forecast. And then Sunday also has been moved up from noon to 11 a.m. Marcus Phillips will be on the bump tomorrow. Big day for him. Will be interesting to see how he performs. The game is starting at halftime of the Tennessee-Vanderbilt basketball game, so our coverage may be a little bit quirky, but we'll do our best to make sure everything is covered up at GoVols247.com with Tennessee basketball and Tennessee baseball. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.